Hello everyone, it's Jean from One Day at a Time Farmstead. Today we're going to be making oatmeal peanut butter no bake. The best part, no bake energy bars. Mark doesn't have time to stop, which for new subscribers, Mark is my husband. He doesn't have time to stop and get lunch most days. So we give him the energy bars, and most days it gets him through and it gives him energy and he doesn't have to worry about stopping and eating. So here are some of the ingredients. This is chia seeds. I'll show you the packages in just a minute. Peanut butter, hazelnut, then we have honey. There's the hazelnut, the peanut butter, the rolled oats. This is the Quaker, doesn't matter what brand, but I get the big box at Sam's. And this is cinnamon. Alright, this recipe calls for a cup of rolled oats, but I use 2 because I'm going to make more. That way he can share with his friends at work if he wants to. And they're just fun to grab and eat sometimes. So this is the 2 cups in my bowl. I'm just going to go ahead and put that. I'm going to go ahead and put my cinnamon in there. That just kind of helps it have the oatmeal flavor taste that's so good in oatmeal bars. Now, the original recipe calls for nutmeg. I tried it. I do not like it. I am not a pumpkin spice kind of person, and that's what it tastes like to me. So it kind of permeated everything and made it more pumpkin spice, so not for me. But if you like pumpkin spice, by all means, please add it because you will love it. Now, this is chia seeds. It said 2 tablespoons. We're using 4. We're just doubling everything. And I'll put the recipe in the description. I'm just putting some of my dry ingredients in here to get them out the way for now. I do have to give a quick little shout out to this precious little Pampered Chef mini measure all cup. It's called a mini measure all cup, and I put my honey in there. You just push it up. I'll show you in a minute how you do that, and it just pushes all the honey out. You get all of it. Nothing's left in there. So this little cup is for dry ingredients or wet ingredients. Love this thing. Alright, we do have vanilla extract. It called for 1. We're using 2 because we're doubling. 1 teaspoon, excuse me. Alright, this recipe does call for a cup of nuts, your choice, which could be anything. And we put our chia seeds. Let me let y'all see. You can get them anywhere. These things are loaded with omega-3s and fiber, magnesium. Really, really great for you. So this helps give a little extra energy kick to these no-bake oatmeal peanut butter bars. So this is what we use. You can get whatever kind you want. Now I'm using all these nuts that I have laid out. We have the toasted sliced almonds. I like them better sliced like this because they ground up better. You'll see that we'll grind them in a minute. We have chopped pecans. We have the sunflower seeds. No salt. Don't get the ones with the salt because it really changes the taste. You don't want the salt. Unless, of course, you want the salt. You like sweet and salty? Go for it. This is pumpkin seeds. So we have our sunflower seeds, our almonds, our chopped pecans, and our pumpkin seeds. Now, what I do is I put equal parts, and I just throw them all in a Ziploc bag, and leave some air space in it, and I just roll them around and mix everything up, shake them up, and that way when I make these energy bars, I have equal parts, pretty close to equal parts of nuts in my mixture. Calls for a cup of a half of a cup of the dried fruit. I am using a cup because we're doubling the recipe. So we have dried cherries, any brand, guys, whatever you choose. The craisins, which is the dried cranberries, the dried blueberries, The dates, we actually took them out and cut them up the size of everything else, but they're going to be blended too. So, and then raisins. I do the same exact thing with all the dried fruit. I just throw it in a Ziploc bag, leave some air, mix it up, toss it around. That way I have equal parts or pretty close to it when I put them in the bars. Alright, it calls for a cup of nuts again, but we're going to use 2. Here's my mixed nuts. And we have our 2 cups. It's hard to show because I'm using one hand to hold the recording device. So, we're going to put that in our Pampered Chef. This is a cooking blender. Love this thing. You can actually cook soup and stuff in it. We're going to add them to there, and we're going to put the lid on and just kind of pulse them to chop them up a little. Because it's easier to press them out and roll them when you are, you know, have smaller size nuts. So there we go. This thing is amazing, and it doesn't take any time. But we do not want to turn them into nut butter, so we're just going to stop at that point. Didn't take long. We have our ground up nuts. I am just going to add them to my bowl with the other dry ingredients. Alright, this calls for a half a cup of the dried fruit. We're going with a cup because we're doubling again. I'm just going to add those to our dry stuff. Alright, I made a boo-boo. I added them to the dry stuff. I have done that and it's fine. But I wanted to add them, you know, put them in the blender and chop them up a little bit so we have smaller pieces because they do roll out better. And I did have leftover nuts in there, a little bit in the bottom. It just is going to blend better and you still get all the flavor. So that's better. That's more of the consistency I'm looking for. If you want it bigger chunks, that's 100% fine. But that's the consistency I'm looking for. Now I did add everything back, all the dry ingredients back, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to pulse it a second just to kind of break up the oats and everything a little bit more. If you have a food processor, I'm not using a food processor, I am using a blender. So it's going to chop it up a lot finer, a lot quicker. So by all means, do your thing however you want to mix it. It just makes it easier for me mixing it this way when I'm going to press them out. The wonderful thing about this little blender is it has a cycle on it that you can do a heat wash. Nope, excuse me, I forgot to cancel. Alright, and we just put a little bit of dish soap. I put like a drop of dish soap and about a cup of water. Press the little button and let her go. And it becomes heated and it washes the inside out because you do not want to get this wet. It's all digital. So it'll go through its cycle. It's heating up right now. It will be cleaning itself while I am blending up the ingredients. So now we're going to be adding our wet ingredients. There's going to be our vanilla extract, which it calls for a teaspoon. We put 2 because we're doubling. Okay, I'm pouring the honey in and I pushed the plunger up and totally forgot to show y'all. You just push the plunger up and it gets most of the wet ingredients out. I did add my vanilla. I don't know if it was on record because when I put the honey it was not. So we're going to add our peanut butter and our hazelnut. Now we have all our wet ingredients in there and we're going to stir it up. I'm going to stir it up a little bit with the spreader and then I am going to mix it with my hands. That way it gets mixed up really good because you are dealing with peanut butter and hazelnut and stuff. So, and then we'll press it out. Alright guys, it sort of looks like a meat mixture, but this is our mix. See how it's really kind of holding together, and we haven't pressed it out or anything. I mix this with my hands, but you may want to use a blender of sorts because it is very, takes a lot of hand strength to mix this really good. So I like doing it with my hands, but if you do not, that's 100% fine. You're probably better off just mixing it in a blender of sorts. I'm going to go ahead and taste my little mixture to see if it is what I want it to be. Perfect. Great mix. That's the first time that I've added hazelnut. I did half of the hazelnut spread and half peanut butter, and I love it. I really like this better. I think my husband will too. So y'all can leave out any of the ingredients you do not want, but you kind of want this type consistency. If you don't want the cinnamon, leave it out. If you want to substitute maple syrup or molasses instead of honey, you can do that. If you want to just use one type of nut or one type of dried fruit, you can do that. Sky is the limit here, guys. Really easy recipe, very delicious recipe, and we'll make the bars now. I have this little Pampered Chef bar maker. That's what I'm going to use for some of it, and then we'll use another thing for more. These are going to be smaller, thinner bars, and we'll make a little bit thicker bars in a minute. Now this was put away quickly last time, so I need to clean it real quick and dry it and then make the bars. Alright, for these bars, we just pressed them out in here really good, and then I just took a butter knife and kind of pushed and cleaned up around the edges. If it was high, because there is going to be a lid on this, we just take the excess off and throw it back in the bowl or fill another well with it so that all these are good size bars and good proportions. They all pretty much equal. Put the lid on and put them in the fridge for at least, I say at least an hour. Now our next method is going to be pressing some out in just a regular baking pan. And we do have a lid. It makes it easier to stack when you do put stuff like this in the fridge. Alright, before I put them in the big pan, I wanted to show y'all you can make little balls. You can make little rectangles. You could make hearts. Any shape you want, but they do have to go in the refrigerator to get more solid form. So it's just have a little fun. The kids, grandkids love these. They don't even know they're healthy. Now that's what it's going to look like before you start pressing it out. You could use a cookie cutter. By all means, different shapes if you want. Press them out by hand, but they do have to be firmly pushed and pressed together. Now we're going to press this out. Alright guys, because I robbed you know, the bars, the amount that I had to make other things just to show you what you could do with it. You know, you just want to firmly press it down in the pan. Now you could, if you use it all in one pan, you know, go to the edges and push it out sort of like you do a graham cracker crust. But yes, it's a little oily because you have all those nuts with the oils in it as well. But they're healthy oils. So just giving y'all different options how to do this. We're going to put this in the fridge and I'll bring y'all back to show y'all the finished product on all of them. Alright guys, while that is getting ready in the fridge to set up, just want to show you, I like using the dry wax paper. We're going to cut that up. That way when we do remove them from the fridge, we can wrap each individual bar up and put it in little baggies. That way he can just grab it and go. Alright, these sheets are 12 by 10 3/4 inches. So I cut them in half. I stack a few, cut them in half. Then I fold it over and cut them in half again. You do not have to use this. You can use whatever you want. This is just so I can put them away a lot more easy, so he can just grab them and go. Remember the 3 little shapes we did? There they are. We're just going to individually wrap them up. Grandkids come over. I'm doing this one-handed. Grandkids come over. They can just grab them and have a good little healthy snack. Now the little rectangles I wrapped up sort of like a little present. Now these I like to go end to end. Just kind of showing you, and I'll finish in a sec. And you go point to point, and then you curl this point in and this point in, and you get the idea. You can wrap it up however you want. So there are your 3 different little shapes wrapped up. Now you can cut each one down to the size you need, the wax paper. Do it however you want. I'm just giving you options. So you kind of wrapping them like little presents. I get these cute little snack bags from the Dollar Tree. Perfect size. He can just toss them when he's done. Alright, so that's our little shapes. Of course I had to eat one. We had some with 2 smaller ones in case he wants to eat one in the morning, one in the afternoon. On this side I made a little 4-pack here from a neighbors, excuse me, and their 2 little granddaughters, because I want her to have a healthier option for the grandbaby. She's always looking for healthier options so that her grandbabies can have a good snack but have a healthy snack. And then these are a little bit bigger, so we just put singles in here. Now we're going to go over to our Pampered Chef bar maker thing just to kind of show you a different option. Alright, so our bars firmed up. Just saying, if you're into craft fairs, things like that, and you bring baked goods, this is a great one to have, because most fairs and craft shows have junk food, and this is a much healthier option. Wrap it up, put it in cute little bags. You can sell that. It's just all around a wonderful thing to have. So I'll show you how these are wrapped up, but these are super duper easy. I'm going to show you with one hand to pull out. Okay? And then we'll just wrap. I do want to mention, I am in a camper, so the sky's the limit. Y'all can do whatever you set your mind to. If you want to make these, I mean, space is not a problem, because I just wanted to show y'all that even in small spaces you can do this, and it's not hard to do at all. Alright, there it is. We have 24. Of course I ate one, about the equivalency of one. So we have 23 in here, but we had 24. That's what our ingredients that I said the double batch made. I'm going to put the one single batch on there, which would make 12. If you want to make double, just double your ingredients. Y'all have a blessed day. Hope y'all enjoy these. I know we love them. Easy to grab and go. Now, as always, guys, thank y'all so much for doing life with us, one day at a time.